Talk as well to Kethevane Gorjestani, our international affairs editor and former Washington correspondent, of course, as well. Kethevane, what do you see as the positives of the meeting?
Well, look, Emmanuel Macron's goal, meeting with Donald Trump, was sort of to salvage what is left of the transatlantic relationships after days of attacks, of insults even from the United States towards the Europeans, towards the Ukrainians. It seems that he managed to at least bring that relationship back from the brink. Now, the bar is pretty low given what has happened in the past couple of weeks, but the tone has changed a little bit. And Dave was mentioning some of these elements. Now, yes, Donald Trump did not agree to have that U.S. backstop, for example, that the Europeans have been asking for. But unlike past comments from some of the U.S. administration, he did not explicitly shut it down. And he said he welcomed the fact that the Europeans were stepping up. The same thing goes with what he said about Putin's being supposedly on board with having those troops there. You also saw that he responded to a question by our reporter, Sonia Dridi, who asked him, are you willing to meet with Zelensky? And he said, yes, we're going to meet maybe at the end of the week, maybe next week. This is a pretty big departure from his rant on Truth Social, calling Zelensky a mediocre actor and a dictator. So it seems that the tone has lightened up a little bit when it comes to Donald Trump. And part of that is Emmanuel Macron using his relationship with Donald Trump. Much has been said of their past relationship. Remember, Emmanuel Macron was already president during Donald Trump's first term, so they have had ups and downs, but they do have a special relationship, and you saw that in the Oval Office, especially those handshakes, those laughs, those, the sort of relationship between the two men. And I think that allows Emmanuel Macron to sort of push back sometimes. He sort of balances it out. He praised Donald Trump for the fact that he got the ball moving, if you will, by speaking to Vladimir Putin. He praised Donald Trump for his deal-making abilities. He praised Donald Trump for using power for diplomacy, but he also pushed back on certain elements. He repeated multiple times that Russia was the aggressor, that Russia was supposed to pay reparations. He also pushed back, and that was, I think, one of the big moments of that Oval Office meeting when Donald Trump was saying once again that Europe wasn't paying enough for supporting Ukraine. And Emmanuel Macron interrupted him, put his hand on his arm and said, actually, no. And he sort of said, let's get the facts straight here. Europe is actually contributing technically more than the United States. Not many leaders have been able to do that. And the reaction on social media from the U.S. media, from a lot of Democrats, was sort of, wow, Emmanuel Macron fact-checking live Donald Trump in the Oval Office was sort of the reaction. But I think all of this is pretty good, but it could, as Dave said, be just words, and it could also as quickly turn the other way with possibly a next call between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, and this could all change in the blink of an eye if things don't go Donald Trump's way. And I think one of the key elements there to look for is whether there will be that agreement on the rare earths in Ukraine with President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Yeah, and on all of bed of roses, is it?
No, absolutely not. And I think one of the things missing from this meeting were sort of concrete steps forward. It looks encouraging, but so far, Donald Trump hasn't changed on some of his main positions. As I said, he repeated multiple times that Europe wasn't doing enough to support Ukraine. He was asked whether he would use the same word he used for Vladimir Zelensky, dictator, to speak about Vladimir Putin. And to that, he said, I do not use those words lightly, and refused to answer the question. He also didn't give any clear position from the United States on that security guarantee, on what the Europeans are asking for. He's also, more importantly, still refusing to blame Russia for the invasion of Ukraine. And we saw this meeting happening at the same time in New York. At the time were those resolutions, one at the General Assembly, one in the UN Security Council, where the U.S. joined the Russians to vote once yes, once no, but opposed to the rest of the European alliance. And that G7 meeting that happened before Donald Trump and Emmanuel Macron met, that G7 meeting still doesn't have a statement, supposedly because the Americans are refusing to call Russia the aggressor. So still a lot to move forward there, and a lot could still go very wrong. And this, of course, having consequences for the Ukrainians.